What will happen to Mykhailo Mudryk after his suspension ends? When Chelsea signed Mykhailo Mudryk from Shakhtar Donetsk in January 2023, expectations were absolutely massive. The Ukrainian winger arrived in London as one of the most exciting young talents in European football. Chelsea saw incredible potential in him and believed they had signed a player who could become one of the best attackers in the Premier League. Mudryk had everything that modern football demands. He had unbelievable speed, dangerous dribbling skills, and the ability to change the game with one explosive run. But his journey at Chelsea was not as easy as many expected. From the beginning, Mudryk faced enormous pressure. The transfer fee was huge, and every match became a test. Fans wanted goals, assists, and moments that would prove why Chelsea invested so much money in him. Sometimes he showed flashes of his real ability. His pace caused problems for defenders, and his talent was impossible to ignore. However, consistency became his biggest problem. Instead of becoming an instant superstar, Mudryk found himself fighting for confidence and trying to adapt to the demands of English football. Criticism started growing, and many people began questioning whether he could reach the level that everyone expected from him. Then came the biggest setback of his career, his suspension. Suddenly, Mudryk's future became one of the biggest questions in football. What will happen when he returns? Will Chelsea give him after his suspension ends? Mykhailo Mudryk will face one of the biggest challenges of his career. Returning to football after a long break is never easy, especially when a player has already been under huge pressure. The first thing Mudryk will need to do is rebuild his confidence. Football is not only about physical ability. A player also needs the right mentality, belief, and determination to perform at the highest level. For Mudryk, every touch of the ball, every match, and every decision will be analyzed by millions of fans. But this could also be his biggest opportunity. Many footballers have experienced difficult moments in their careers and returned stronger than ever. Players have been criticized, doubted, and even written off, only to come back and prove everyone wrong. Mudryk now has the chance to create a completely different story. Chelsea still know his qualities. They know how fast he is, how dangerous he can be in one-on-one situations, and why they decided to make such a big investment in him. However, earning his place in the team will not be easy. Chelsea have many talented attacking players, and competition for positions is extremely high. Mudryk will need to show that he deserves another chance. He will need to improve his finishing, his decision-making, and his ability to influence games consistently. The Premier League is one of the toughest competitions in the world, and talent alone is not enough. Players must prove themselves every single week. For Mudryk, the return will not just be about playing football again. It will be about proving that the player everyone believed in is still there. The question is whether he can turn the most difficult period of his career into the beginning of a new chapter. One of the biggest questions after Mudryk's return will be his future at Chelsea. When the club signed him, they believed he could become a key player for many years. Chelsea did not see him as just another signing. They saw him as a long-term investment. But football moves quickly. A club's plans can change, and players must constantly prove their value. If Mudryk returns and immediately shows his quality, Chelsea could give him another important role in the squad. A confident Mudryk with his speed and attacking ability could become a huge weapon for the team. Imagine a winger who can beat defenders, create chances, and attack empty spaces behind the opposition defense. That was the player Chelsea believed they were getting. However, if his performances do not improve, the situation could become more complicated. Chelsea have already spent heavily on new talents, and the club needs players who can make an impact. If Mudryk cannot find his place, a transfer could become a possible solution. Another club might give him the fresh start he needs. Sometimes a change of environment can completely transform a player's career. There are many examples of footballers who struggled at one club but became stars somewhere else. The most important thing for Mudryk will be finding the right conditions to show his abilities. At just 25 years old, his career is far from over. He still has time to change the opinion of fans and prove that he can compete at the highest level. The pressure will be enormous, but so will the opportunity. Because football remembers not only how players fall, but also how they respond. And for Mykhailo Mudryk, the comeback could become the moment that defines his career. Another important factor in Mudryk's comeback will be the support around him. A footballer returning after a difficult period needs the right environment. Confidence can disappear quickly, especially when a player feels that every mistake will be criticized. For Mudryk, the first games after his return could be extremely important. He does not necessarily need to score in every match or become a superstar immediately. What he needs is to show progress. Small moments can rebuild confidence. A successful dribble, a dangerous pass, a good performance, or a goal that reminds everyone of his quality. The Chelsea fans will also play a big role. Some supporters have criticized Mudryk heavily because they expected much more from such an expensive signing. But football fans also love comeback stories. If Mudryk shows passion, hard work, and improvement, many fans could change their opinion. The biggest challenge will be proving that he has developed as a player. When he first arrived at Chelsea, many people focused on his incredible speed. But at the highest level, speed is not enough. The best wingers in the world combine pace with intelligence, finishing, movement, and decision-making. Players like this know when to pass, when to shoot, and when to slow the game down. These are the areas where Mudryk will need to improve. His talent was never the main question. The question has always been whether he can turn that talent into consistent performances. His return will show if he has learned from the difficult moments and if he's ready to fight for his place again. Because sometimes the hardest moments in a career create the strongest players. And Mudryk now has the chance to write a completely different story. The future of Mykhailo Mudryk could go in several different directions after his return. The best possible scenario for him is simple. He returns, finds his confidence, and finally shows why Chelsea believed in him. If Mudryk starts producing goals, assists, and impressive performances, the conversation around him could completely change. Football can be unpredictable. A player who is criticized today can become a hero tomorrow. The qualities that made Chelsea interested in him are still there. His explosive speed, ability to attack defenders, and his desire to create dangerous moments can make him a special player. But another possible scenario is that Chelsea decide to move in a different direction. The club has invested in many young attackers, and competition for places will only become stronger. If Mudryk struggles to find regular playing time, both the player and the club may consider a transfer. A move to another league could give him the opportunity to restart his career without the same level of pressure. Sometimes players need a new challenge to unlock their true potential. We have seen many footballers leave big clubs and become completely different players somewhere else. However, leaving Chelsea would not necessarily mean failure. The Premier League is one of the hardest environments in football, and not every talented player adapts immediately. For Mudryk, the most important thing is to return with the right mindset. He needs to forget the criticism, focus on his football, and prove himself on the pitch. Because in the end, football is decided by performances, not by transfer fees, not by opinions, not by expectations, only by what happens during the 90 minutes. And when Mudryk steps back onto the pitch, the world will be waiting to see which version of him returns. There's one thing that makes Mudryk's situation so interesting. His story is still unfinished. Many young players experience difficult moments before reaching their best level. At the beginning of their careers, they have to learn how to deal with pressure, criticism, and expectations. Mudryk's journey at Chelsea has been a huge learning experience. He moved from Ukrainian football to one of the biggest leagues in the world and immediately became one of the most talked about young players. That level of attention can be difficult for anyone. But great players are often defined by how they react when things do not go according to plan. A comeback is not only about physical preparation, it is also about mentality. Mudryk will need to show that he is hungry, motivated, and ready to fight for every opportunity. Chelsea will be watching his attitude as much as his performances. Training sessions, preparation, and his desire to improve will all matter. If he shows the right mentality, he can earn the trust of the coaching staff again. The fans want to see a player who gives everything on the pitch. They want to see confidence, energy, and the determination that made him such an exciting talent in the first place. Nobody knows exactly what will happen after his return. Maybe Mudryk will become one of Chelsea's most important players. Maybe he will need a new club to restart his career. But one thing is certain. His comeback will be one of the most interesting stories to follow in football. Because sometimes one season, one goal, or one great performance can change everything. And for Mykhailo Mudryk, that moment could still be waiting. So what will happen to Mykhailo Mudryk after his suspension ends? The truth is that nobody can predict the future. Football careers are full of unexpected turns, and a player's reputation can change very quickly. Right now, Mudryk has something to prove. He needs to show Chelsea, the fans, and the football world that he is still the incredible talent people believed in. The road ahead will not be easy. There will be pressure, expectations, and many people waiting to see if he can succeed. But pressure can also create great moments. If Mudryk returns stronger, improves his game, and finds his confidence again, he could completely change the way people see him. A few years from now, this difficult period could become just a chapter in a much bigger success story. However, if things do not go his way, he will have to make important decisions about his future. The most important thing is that he gets the chance to play football again and show what he can really do. Because talent like Mudryk's does not disappear overnight. His speed, technique, and attacking ability are still valuable qualities. Now everything depends on his mentality, his work, and his performances. Will Mykhailo Mudryk become the player Chelsea dreamed about when they signed him? Or will his career take a different path? The answer will only be revealed on the football pitch. One thing is certain, when Mudryk returns, millions of fans will be watching. And this could be the beginning of the most important chapter of his career. Now, the future is in Mykhailo Mudryk's hands. Football has seen many players fall under pressure and come back stronger. The difference between failure and success is often decided by how a player responds during the hardest moments. Mudryk still has the talent, the speed, and the opportunity to change his story. The next chapter will show whether he can become the player Chelsea believe they signed or whether his career will take a completely different direction. What do you think will happen with Mykhailo Mudryk after his return? Will he become a Chelsea star, or will he need a new challenge? Let us know your opinion in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe for more football stories, news, and analysis.